like Hollywood Squares.
That's right. We're going to phase us all out with this shit. All right. So, welcome everyone to Masculine Geek number 104. This was supposed to be a live stream D&D game, and we had some scheduling conflicts, so no D&D. But you do get the entire crew. So, welcome. Welcome to one of the best shows on the internet on one of the best days of the week, Masculine Geek Wednesday. So how's everybody doing? And what is everybody doing?
Doing awesome.
That's fantastic. Eating your noodles?
Actually, I started reading Aaron's book today.
Okay.
High IQ. It's actually pretty good.
Cool.
So it's unfortunate he's not here. Oh well. So how does Aaron write a book about having a high IQ?
Considering he doesn't have one.
Observation only.
No, apparently he hired Joshua Lysick as a ghostwriter. So,
that's what
I think that's what he did. I think he's hired him for. I just spit over. I think he hired all his work out to.
Well,
Joshua.
that's what I'm thinking.
I don't.
Aaron's never written a book because he doesn't like to read, and if you don't like to read, how in the hell can you write?
Exactly.
And so I'm thinking all he does is sits around and watches old movies on Gone with the Wind or something, and the days when the ladies had the gams. He does that shit, and then he has Josh write his books for him, and then he just puts his name on it.
So basically, the only thing he's doing is the 4-hour nap and fap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
And I tried to read Kirk's high IQ, but I couldn't understand it.
Even yeah, we got stood up by Rolla. Well, he's out in Miami. He won't be returning until Friday, so I doubt he wanted to bring his dice with him to Miami. So
what else is there to do there?
Yeah, Miami's a big D&D town, isn't it?
Yeah, but those initials probably stand for something else. Not Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks, Bacon, for the $2.23. Appreciate that. Aaron is older than most goes. Aaron is Aaron. So there you go. So we get this is like Animal Kingdom only with people. So Drew's over eating his dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I was going to make steak.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think I'd have time to. Not that it takes that long. It takes me like 30 seconds to cook a steak, one side and the other. But to heat up the pan and everything, make sure that butter and olive oil and everything spread evenly. Get everything set up. Didn't want to rush it. So I'm having leftovers. I don't even know. I'm not sure what this is. It's some Asian. It has chicken and shrimp and a bunch of vegetables and some sort of a light sauce and some noodles. I don't know. My wife cooks all this Asian food. Some of it's Thai, Filipino, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, whatever. It's got a lot of meat and vegetables, so I'm happy with it.
Cool.
No idea what it's called though. None.
As long as it's good and nutritious, who cares?
It's some guy dong. That's what it is.
Oh God.
Long duck dong.
Would Aaron write a cookbook too?
He should actually. That's not a bad idea. Oh, I'm sorry. Joshua should write the cookbook.
Yes, Joshua should
he
write
would
him a
twist
book.
it into some kind of like, all right, the woman's guide for catching a man.
Yeah.
You know,
Here he is.
I don't know. Probably.
Aaron, we were just talking about you and how you should probably write a cookbook.
I don't know how to cook. It's like that's like TJ writing a book on sex. He doesn't know how to have sex. What are you talking about?
See, this is proof that Aaron did not write any of his books, and he hired Joshua as his ghostwriter. Yeah.
Okay, connect that for me. I'm very curious what your logic is.
Rob, what was your initial logic for this? Go ahead, Rob.
It was the fact that Aaron can't be bothered to read, which tells me he can't write if he doesn't know how to read, because he'd rather watch, Gone with the Wind and talk about the dames with the gams, and so it's like there's no way he's an author. It's like no, he's got to have someone in the back there doing all the heavy lifting, doing the writing while he's watching Hogan's Heroes or something.
Kelly's
And
Hero.
yeah, that too, all of it. He's watching his 50s movies and sitcoms and napping and fapping and he paid Josh to write the books and he just put his name on them.
Weren't those guys in the German prison camp or something?
This and Hogan's Heroes, dude.
And there was a fat guard. That was kind of a doofus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
Hogan's Heroes, yeah.
He knows nothing.
In
There's
10,
nothing.
20 years, they're going to do another one like that, except they're going to be trying to escape commie internment camps right here in the U.S.
Hey, speaking of commie internment camps, did you get your microphone from a communist country? Because it sucks dick right now, Drew. What are you?
It
Is that a Venezuelan microphone there?
no, it is one of these blue snowball things. I got the,
Maybe you be gay like Vince and move it closer to your mouth.
then it would be in the wall.
Oh God, we love you, Aaron.
It's good
I don't
to
know
be here.
why, but we love you.
Hey, did you ever watch that Deadlier Than the Male movie?
Yes,
how
I
was
wanted to talk with a little bit about that. Was very good. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't finished it, so don't ruin it for me. But like the first half we watched before we fell asleep, I was like, "Damn, that's good." It was the canon of that work. What's his name? Something Drummond.
Well, Bulldog Drummond is different from the character in that movie. They're similar,
All right.
but the Bulldog Drummond series is a bit older. That's from late 30s, early 40s.
Okay.
This one is more of a James Bondish type character.
Yeah.
He's an
What?
insurance agent. So he's and falls into kind of a detective role. So, but it's very good. I enjoyed it. So thank you for the recommendation. Even though you didn't finish watching it.
No, I wanted to. Like, then I had to take off to Vegas, where I got screwed by snow, and then. But when I get back to home in Minnesota, I'll finish it off.
All right, so you're in Vegas now.
Yep, in the Southern Command.
And that explains why Rolo's in Miami.
Exactly. He's like, Aaron's coming out, so I'm leaving the state.
That asshole.
Never the two shall meet.
Exactly.
No, we're not. We're never going to meet because
that's because neither of you are actually real.
Well, there might be some
Cappy.
Yeah, go ahead, TJ. The adult was talking, but interrupt me now. Yes, what were you saying, boy?
I'm probably going to beat him before you do.
You probably will. Yeah. He was half a mile away from me. I think he did it to me on purpose just to agitate me. So.
Yep.
He'll probably just come over to my area with his snowmobile and we'll go
go
snowmobiling and
All right.
Ride his snowmobile. Ride.
No, but the thing is, Cappy, when it does happen, that far more than enjoying.
Who's the top?
No.
Oh fuck!
Are you going to bring Reese? Is Reese going to be watching?
Reese is going to be holding the camera.
It's going to have a GoPro.
Okay, guys.
It's going to be nothing but ball crotch shots.
Okay, we need to pull away from this. Okay, no, is going downhill. No, Cappy, it's the fact that no matter how beautiful the view is, no matter how awesome it is, being on a snowmobile and then drinking some awesome whiskey, the greatest enjoyment I will have is being able to rub it in your face and send you photos and just continually torment you for the rest of your life.
Of snowmobiling?
Oh my God. Just
Rollobiling.
went complete. hanging out with a
I
guy
don't
that
like
you've tried to
snowmobiling. I've done it. It's not that exciting. I don't like it. But so I'm trying to figure out how you can.
No, Cappy, it's the fact that you've tried to hang out with him and it didn't succeed. I will succeed where you have failed.
We'll probably
Wouldn't
all
be the
meet
first
Rollo
time.
before you will.
The trick with the snowmobile is to find a rural area where they have a ditch by the side of the road, and you get down in the ditch so that every time you come to where people's driveways are, you're flying over them.
Nice.
Find a highway in a rural area with houses spaced about maybe 100 yards or so apart. And just fly down the ditch and up the driveways.
Look, ain't none of you met Rollo yet, so I don't think he exists. So until somebody has like a visual sighting of him,
I've met Rollo.
You have?
Oh, see, there you go.
True was on school panels with Rollo.
Together, and we've been in the same room on some live streams. And we actually went to a dinner with what's his name, Milo Yiannopoulos and Roger Stone.
Holy shit.
A few years back. We weren't like sitting around having dinner with Milo and Roger.
Well, how the hell did that happen?
Like events where you go and they talk and feed everybody.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How to get in contact with Milo again? I met him. What was it? I think it was my junior or my senior year of high school. I met him, and he's apparently around this area, so I gotta reconnect with him.
I think he moved to Miami.
New Jersey?
I thought no. I think no. He had a house down in Miami.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not this area.
For a while, he was in this area. He didn't live in New York because New York.
Okay. Maybe North Jersey or some
I
shit.
think he was somewhere in North Jersey so that he could get to New York quickly.
Most likely Hoboken.
Hmm.
That's they've done a quick turnaround over the past decade as far as the real estate prices going up and the gentrification. So, would not surprise me at all. Yeah. So, what are you up to, Nick?
Winning.
There you go. That's why you can't really talk much after that. I mean,
I'm working every day to fulfill Rob's hopes and dreams for me.
that's all that matters.
I don't want to know what his hopes and dreams are for you.
Make him proud.
50-year-old women. That's Rob's hopes. 50-year-old women.
I thought that they reached their prime at 60.
63.
Oh, okay.
And then you just take them to the dance, man. Just take them to the dance.
Dinner and dancing.
Nice bouquet of roses.
Exactly.
Tell her how you
Make
were.
sure you wear
that
shoes, not
23-year-old.
sneakers.
Oh, hey, you gotta write that poem. You gotta write the poem that just.
That's
you know.
right. Love letters are essential in today's day and age.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There once was
Bring
a
the
man
beer.
named TJ, and for the gay guy, he gave a BJ.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He went off the
There once was a guy named Happy.
I've been reading the diary of a gay man recently. Like chapter, it's weird. Chapter.
So you're
one
reading.
is
So you're
called The
basically you're
Question.
reading Aaron's work, is what you're saying.
A libertarian in Minneapolis. Very interesting. Very interesting book.
Well, Aaron is out in that area. So, and he is pretty gay. So,
I want a do-over from God. This is the fucking shit I got, you assholes. This is what I got. This is the pinnacle. Like, I've achieved the pinnacle of my career, and here I am, like, what's the best use of my time? Hanging out with you schmucks. It's like, God, I screwed up somewhere. Oh, a previous life, I must have banged the Pope's wife or something. I must have done something wrong.
No.
Yes,
Well,
TJ,
Cappy,
you may speak. What childish observation do you have? Yes, what?
It
Popes
beats
don't have
those.
wives, they have like daycares or something, right?
Cappy, it beats those parties you would go to in college in Minnesota, where you brought CDs to.
You're 100%. No. I just. But yeah, beat that any day. Yeah, without. It's sad when the company of men like beats like the random fuck of a woman. It really is kind of like, wow. You know,
Welcome to the world of
girls are-
men.
So do you want to go get coffee? No, I'd rather hang out with. Let me introduce you to these schmucks. Let me show you how low grade you are. This idiot in New Jersey with a beard is more intelligent than you. The other younger, Barry White idiot with a beard is better than you. This Nick schmuck wearing glasses at night is better than you. And this bearded fuck over in Utah is better than you. And this right-up steroid furating whatever the hell he is, and TJ, they're all better than you.
Oh, well, honestly, yes.
Not that I have an opinion.
Oh, dude, that's a great kind of comparison to just say, would I rather hang out with her or chat with the guys on Masculine Geek?
Yeah, that's how bad women are. I'd rather hang out with you guys. Yeah,
that's right.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah.
You should write a book about that.
You should, Cappy, you should look at all the numbers. No, seriously, this would be a great book. You should write about like the return of investment that a guy makes into dating. Yeah, I think it would be a good book. And you could start out that book by talking about your experiences in the dating scene in Minnesota during college.
Yeah. It was as cold as the snow.
When we were in college, we had a ratio that we seriously keep.
John's in the hang on a second. John's in the chat, and I had originally invited him before. So, John, check your Twitter.
Make sure he's got like
the robe
or something.
Yeah, there you go. So check your Twitter DM, John. Thank you, Andrew, for the $2. How do I get the Gamestop stocks? What? Oh, all that crap that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, because Reddit decided to take on the stock market.
I got a funny story that's related. I had stock in GameStop, and we sold it right when it was like peaking ostensibly, and then it just skyrockets. And so if we'd held on to it for my portfolio would have skyrocketed. But I kind of just laugh. Like, I'm not upset at all that if we'd held on to that stock longer, I would have probably doubled the value of my portfolio. So I'm just kind of watching it, just laughing. Like, I don't know. So other people could get upset about the fact that if you'd held on to it for just a little bit longer, it would have gone up by 180%. But it's just, when I was reading, because I looked at the stock the next day and it just skyrocketed, and I looked over and saw that Redditors were talking about it and conspiring to drive up the stock. So I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Great story, TJ.
It's power to the people. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Drew, what were you were starting to say something? What's up?
For me?
Yeah, or before we got
the book on the economics of dating. A couple friends and I, when we were in college, used to talk about this and the absurdity of spending money on women, although they just want you to spend money on. And so we would talk about, and again, the 90s, so the term Mac might have, and we used this, we didn't talk like that, but it was kind of a joke. A Mac ratio, basically, if the amount of money spent relative to the actual amount of sex acts that you got from a woman, and you wanted to keep that ratio as low as possible, or better yet, negative, that she should be giving you money and taking you out and buying you things on a regular basis. And so that could be the foundation of that.
Was Mac for an acronym there, Drew, or what did Mac stand for?
It was some sort of hip hop rap slang crap.
Macking. You were macking on a girl.
Yeah, macking on a girl, being the Mac Daddy.
They called it Mac
attack.
Back in the 90s, when Herb had his penis work right and proper, he called it macking.
And Aaron is the fap daddy.
The Mac Daddy of fapping.
There you go. The napping fap daddy.
You guys are the best expenditure of my time. As a professional economist, I can say the real world is that bad that you assholes are the best expenditure of my time. That's how bad it is out there.
Hey, the ROI on what you get on this show is more than
it's more than the GameStop stonks right now.
Exactly, yeah.
Would you guys like a little bit of optimistic news?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Sure. From you? Wow.
Yeah.
Did
so
hell
we're
freeze
all
over?
Americans here. And, Jack Napier is our foreign agent in the field. I have actually quite the economic opportunity for Mr. Napier. And it'll be of mutual benefit for all of us, where Napier would profit and all of us would have a good service in mind. I can't say what it is, but my economic genius came up with something like,
Wooden shoes.
huh?
Wooden shoes.
Clogs.
Oh no,
It's a
he's got.
silhouette. What are we looking at?
He's by Holland.
It's John.
Wooden
Aaron.
shoes.
LD.
You're all washed out. We can't see you, John.
No, I'm gonna do
Keep
like
it that way.
He's
I'm gonna be
back
the-
so that
do the.
he doesn't ban us for the nipples.
I look like the bad guy from Inspector Gadget now.
You just need the voice alteration thing, and
There you
we've
go.
got,
Oh my
you know,
God.
Mafia on it. Fucking show.
You're Dr. Claw today.
Where's the cat?
Oh man,
Where's the
how's everybody doing? Good morning from Tokyo.
We're good. We're good.
Morning.
Good evening from New Jersey.
Good morning,
Nothing
John.
better than tuning in and seeing Aaron shouting at the digital clouds.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so you made the
Forgot
news
to shake
today,
your
John.
fist.
I saw it. I love it. How's everybody doing? What are we talking about?
Everything and anything.
Random
Right now,
stuff.
well, we were talking about Aaron's brilliant idea that he had hatched with Jack Napier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he won't tell us. He won't tell us details because
That must be a riveting idea.
The idea was get out there.
You all make fun of the economists, so. But no, it actually is a good idea, and the reason I'll say it is because this is public, but it is that good of an idea.
Aaron, what do you think about the GameStop situation?
I haven't paid attention to it.
It's
A bunch
probably
of
not
shit.
worth it.
A bunch of shit posters on Reddit got together on Wall Street Bets, and they started pumping all these stocks that had shorts on them, and they have pumped this stock over 200% in the last 48 hours, to the point that the retail or the institution has frozen retail trading. And because
That's kinda
here's
funny,
what
actually.
happened. There was this
hold
head.
it. Before we go any further, just let me and John have the floor here for a second. So GameStop has stopped operating?
No.
Okay.
The institutional trading has halted
Okay.
the trading of GameStop, because what's been happening is these guys got together on Reddit's Wall Street Bets. They, came together and they saw which stocks had some shorts on them. So are you familiar with how shorting works in the market?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a financial.
I'm going
So
to
you
take
basically-
Explain to me the shorting, John.
So
Yes, I
you
know how
basically-
shorting works.
Okay, so basically they are holding on their positions, and they have bled a hedge fund dry, and the hedge fund is actually it's filing for bankruptcy already. This is in 48 hours.
Did some corporate raiders get fucked over?
Big time. The initial
That's
guy who
too
made
bad.
the guy who made the initial investment was $50,000. He is now sitting on $21 million in 48
What
hours.
is the name of this guy
Yeah.
that did that? I want to know the name of this guy because I'm hoping to God he's some like Thaddeus McWinthrop the third douchebag. What's his name?
He's anonymous. It's all anonymous.
Oh, it's anonymous. I never remember.
Yeah.
I want to look him up.
Oh, it's all over,
John,
man.
So
Aaron,
I
you got to
actually
contact
had,
him with the book deal.
John, I was just telling him I had stock in GameStop and we sold it when we thought it was the peak. So I've been watching this, and I was telling him I'm not really bought. Like, my portfolio would have exploded if we'd held on to that stock, but nobody expected this coming. So it's like it's not like anybody was at anybody's fault. I just thought it
TJ,
was
the only
hilarious
thing you
when-
need to sell is that turtleneck.
Oh,
Damn.
The women here would disagree with you, John. So I'm going to take them over you.
What women?
Well,
Oh God!
I was gonna
fucking
say
say, I'll give
you gotta be
$1,000
saying that
for a
tongue in
woman
cheek,
right now.
TJ. Jesus.
The only woman here
TJ, you
is
look
Aaron.
great. I'm just busting your balls, buddy. You look fantastic.
Well, I know.
I
Aaron,
never-
it's like. No, go ahead.
I never. To me, I mean, except for the tactical turtlenecks just look like a foreskin. I never really
funny.
cared. I never cared for turtlenecks. So
You look like a great 90s cigarette commercial, though, TJ. Gals with some feathered hair fawning over you because you're lighting a camel.
the pipe would add to it, though.
No, I always liked. There was this guy. God, what's his name? Tom Cream. He was one of the guys with Ernest Shackleton's expedition in Antarctica, and he had something like this when he was down there.
Is that a cable? Is that a cable net?
It's a wool. Like it's a, you know, who else had one?
Never mind.
I don't know what it is. I just like it, and I like the, you know, I don't know. It was who else was there? I think it was Robert Shaw in Jaws. Like he had something like this, like the sailor type thing. So I like it, and I don't have to wear a lot of layers with this on when it's like 30 degrees outside because it keeps me warm.
How cold is it out near you now?
It was 30 today, but you know, I got a lot of positive responses when I was in town. So, you know,
cool.
I'm gonna go with that.
The women didn't run as fast as they're running away.
Well, they were all in walkers, so they couldn't.
Well, there was black ice because it's so cold out, and they.
Well, you know, I'll give a
They had to
field
watch that
report when I
step
take,
into shuffling away.
I'll give a field report when I take Reese into town.
Absolutely, you should.
TJ, I got a question. Did you ever recover your hat that you lost on your hike? I'm not kidding. I felt bad. You lost your 17-year-old hat.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really?
dude. I had this cap that I'd had for 17 years.
Damn.
It was this wool cap, and
I've
had it. I take it. Yeah, I dropped it when I was going up to Kolchak Lake, and then I realized I'd lost it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll find it on the road leading up." Didn't find it. Asked everybody about it. They said that they didn't see it, and then somebody said, "Well, someone probably left it by the bridge." I was like, "Okay," so I'm gonna head over there. And when I get down there, this was a 60-mile hike, and I get down there at the bottom, and there was no hats. So I just figured somebody picked it up. It was a really nice wool cap, and they just decided to keep it or give it to their kid. Or
hobo is wearing it now.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's distinct enough to where if somebody else is wearing it, I'll know because I dropped it once in my neighborhood, and there was this kid who grabbed it and was wearing it one time, and I was like, went up to his folks and said, "Yeah, that's mine." You know, I'm usually not that assertive, or confident on that kind of stuff. It was like, there's only one of those caps in this neighborhood, and it belongs to me. So hand it over, cough it up.
I have a spicy story, Vince, that I was texting you about.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's BDSM related, but that's
fantastic.
There was nothing sexual that happened, but it was very, very wild.
Sounds like Cappy.
No sex involved, but very wild.
A wild day for Cappy is somebody like he paid for the bill at Perkins.
What's wrong with Perkins? What is wrong with Perkins?
Cappy, we have a Perkins
restaurant.
No,
you know,
Perkins is great. You paying for it is the miracle moment.
Paying for Perkins?
All you Minnesotans are Jews. Charlie's the same way.
Perkins is expensive. It's not McDonald's.
Oh my God,
like
Cappy.
Mr. Tokyo Man.
Aaron,
What?
weren't you touting the deliciousness of the what is it, French silk?
French silk pie over at Perkins. I don't know why I'm catching guff for this again.
No, dude, I'm not giving you guff about it. I wanted to try it, and the Perkins near me fucking closed up.
You know, Cappy, it reminds me of
I had very mixed results with Perkins. There have been some where the food has been great, and there have been some where I had to stop and walk back out to check that I hadn't walked into a Waffle House.
Dude, Perkins is lit, man. I love it. I went there during my last day.
John.
No, it was me. You missed you, Cappy.
Some of them are.
Joke went over your head. Listen, okay, so I was with this artist chick the other day, right, Vince? Real fucked up chick, real psycho. Huge tits, right? Loves to take pictures of herself naked. Chinese, 26, and we were like we went to Starbucks, right? And then we were hanging out at my place after in my living room with me and the pup, and we were making out and stuff. And then it got to the point where I kind of like grabbed her hair from behind, and it wasn't intentionally to be like a little tough, but I grabbed from behind her head and I could feel her like her whole body quiver. And I was like, oh, I was like, I wasn't expecting this. I was like, we got one of these on our hands. So we're going at it. We're making out stuff. And then I stroked the side of her cheek with my hand, and then she quivers again. And I said, you know what? I feel like you are into, in Japan, they say SM. They don't say BDSM. They say SM. I say, I feel like you're SM. And I said, and I also feel like you're an M. And she's like, she looked at me. She said nothing verbally, but she said yes with her eyes. And then I was like kind of like, beating around the bush, because we just met. It was like only been 2 hours, but it got to the point where she wanted me to open palm slap her in the face in the living room.
Wow. All right.
And so I did it. And it, then we started like, she was fighting me, but she was fighting me in a way that she wanted me to fight her back and like,
Correct.
hold her down and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like, so it got to the point where I pinned her down and like I pulled up her shirt and like, I was sucking on her boobs and everything.
You just embarrassed Aaron. He had to get away. He's just...
Yeah, he had to go rub one out. He'll be back in 30 seconds.
But anyway, toilet paper stuck to the palm of his hand.
My question is this, right? So when we got on the floor and I pinned her down and like, pulled her shirt up and everything, my thing is this. I felt like she wanted to keep going, but then I was also like, don't catch a rape charge or like, how do you find that like ambiguous line they don't want you to cross? And you know what I mean?
Well, there's a trust thing going on here. If you just met somebody and you wanted to take it further,
yeah.
I would not, especially with someone that you just met.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and even going further, if you're going to do that, I mean, always go with your gut.
Yeah,
and not for nothing, record it.
I was going to say I would be very concerned that it might be a trap.
It's not. Dude, it's Asia. It's not like that.
Yeah, no, but especially the women do want to. A woman that wants to submit to a man that she's really into, she will let you do whatever you want to her, and she wants to be able to scream. She wants to be able to let go, and she wants you to fucking take her.
Yep.
Now that it seems like yes, you were on that track. However, with someone that you just met, I can understand being a little cautious, and rightly so.
Right.
And rightly so.
She mentioned when we were doing it, she's like, I want to do more. She's like, I just need to trust you. She's like, I just need to trust you a little bit more.
Exactly. So just give it some time. But that's a good one there.
Yeah, she sent me a long follow-up text message like, I want to see you again. We're gonna cook dumplings together and everything. Man, oh man, was it hot. Listen, man, not for nothing, as you like to say.
There you go.
Consensually speaking, I love beating a woman's ass during sex. I love just giving her a whole like bar fight, roughing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
She's ready. She's totally ready.
Nice. Now, I miss. Where did you meet her? You were in Starbucks?
No, I met her off of Instagram.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Straight off of Instagram, and she saw me gallivanting across the United States and was just like, Jesus.
Oh, you caught her interest from your travels. Nice. Okay.
Yes, sir.
John, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this girl was Chinese. Did you meet her in China or Japan or the United States? I'm just kind of curious because you said you met her on Tinder or whatever it was?
Instagram. Met her on Instagram. She is an immigrant here.
Immigrant to Japan.
Holy crap.
From China, yes.
Doing this.
Okay, so Instagram is big enough over in Japan that's also a market as well.
Mate, everybody globally is addicted to Instagram, dude.
Really? Okay, it's global. It's not just the U.S.
Dude, these girls are cracked out on Instagram over here, man. Cracked
out.
Gain
says.
Yeah, no, it's a global phenomenon, man. That's why Zuckerberg is so arrogant.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, when did you get back to Japan?
8 days ago.
Okay, so you're fully rested. You're all
Oh,
back. You're all back in the saddle. I know you're going to take some time off. I know because Aaron just wrote a 10-page pamphlet and he's taking some time off. So
Yeah.
What are you talking 10-page pamphlet? What 10? The Book of Numbers?
I'm messing with you. It's very good. I'm on chapter 9.
You know, I was gonna read it, but I just don't read. But I'm so glad he put it out on Audible. So now I'm gonna download.
There you go. There's my
Yeah.
buddy. Thank you, John.
I'm gonna throw
Reading is
this in the review, and you can appreciate this, Aaron. You know Dr. Phelps from Jerry Lewis, Dr. Phelps from the Nutty Professor.
Is that the dean of the school?
No, Phelps or Kelps. Kelp is the
Professor
is
Kelp.
Professor
All
Kelp.
right, not Phelps. There's a difference
it's
there.
the same. It's the
No,
same.
it's not the same. Phelps is PH. Kelps is a K. Professor Kelp.
Phonetically, it's close, so you could kind of get what I was talking about. You schlonglick. Anyway,
Continue on about your
his
degradation
voice.
of Jerry Lewis's greatest character.
His voice. You read the technical parts of your book in his voice, and it's brilliant. It's perfect. You have it in your head.
Dude,
his
okay,
voice.
hang on. I got the digital copy of my book right here. Hang on, let me pull this up. Do you
And
want me
read
to
it-
read it in the
and read it-
Freud-Levin?
And read it in the Freud-Levin voice. Yep.
Here we go. Chapter 1, the question.
Ah.
Like chapter 1, the question. Hang on. A libertarian in Minneapolis. Allow me to tell you the odd origins of how this essay came into existence. It was the early 2000s, and like any other 20-something man, I want to get laid. I was in Minneapolis at the time, and it was the pre-social media COVID cutting culture to meet girls at bars, nightclubs, dance halls, etc. However, due to the harsh and long Minnesota winters, house parties were also very long for Levin, common in the Minneapolis dating scene. You'd show up with a bottle of booze, perhaps a toss a couple bucks to the host, and then you were let in to enjoy the night of the 90s music with the potluck booze and with the painful, mindless 20-something conversations, and then
There you
maybe
go.
with the local lovers. How's that?
That's perfect.
That's good. There we go.
You need to narrate the entire song of Wolfgar in that voice.
There you go.
And then the people came down from the mountains and they attacked them with their spears and their swords.
There you go. I like it.
Since Aaron's doing his thing, I got a geek show and tell.
Nice.
It's not really a geek thing. It's just I thought it was cool. So this just arrived in the mail. There.
We live here.
No,
Nice.
it's cool.
I like it.
Nice.
I
It's a patch, right?
have an Iwo Jima metal magnet from Pearl Harbor on my refrigerator here. Really,
Nice.
really good conversation piece when Japanese people come over.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
You got
So I actually have two.
My Thanos glove and I just zap them into it.
You just go. No, I actually got two of them. I liked it so much, so I'm going to put one probably on my car. I'm going to probably put the other one on my brand new motorcycle helmet
Nice.
or something like that. We'll
Is
see.
it
That'll
pink?
work.
I got a question,
Yes.
TJ. Are you gonna wear it this time? The next time you crash, or you're just like, hey, fuck my elbows.
No, actually, I got my new motorcycle pants arrived today, and then the shirt that has all the pads on the elbows and stuff that's going to be arriving probably tomorrow. So I've got
I wrote a
will
song
have
called
all the
"Fuck My Elbows." I'm TJ Leavenworth. What are my elbows worth? Not much, apparently.
Well, they won't-
That was the
oh,
song.
you tell that to
It's
the
a work in
hospital, dude.
progress.
You tell it to the hospital. I spent a weekend.
Any hot nurses at the hospital, or is that kind of like a thing of the past?
No, they are.
Nurses.
There's a few.
So, well, there. I mean, yeah, there are. It's just a question of, do you want to date them?
Do you want full blown
That's the
AIDS?
question.
Because they're all whores.
Oh my god. No, people know who I am. I got my real name. And so if I were to reveal any more details, it would, I'm going to choose not to comment. I will neither confirm.
Have you been to a hospital in Japan yet?
I've been to, yeah, but I've not been hospitalized, but I have been in the hospital. Yeah.
Well, how are the nurses over in Japan?
Oh, skinny, hot, fucking feminine.
What's the outfit like? Is it like the modern day blue scrubs, fat, bloated American CNA?
No, it's like a white kind of dress, but they will also wear like these white leggings under them. Each hospital and clinic has different uniforms for the women, but they're very feminine. Dude, if you came here, Aaron, you would go back and your hatred for America would 100x.
You're a good salesman for Japan. Maybe I got to go there.
You got to just come here in 2022 when the borders are open.
Japan's locked down now, isn't it?
That's when Atham get his freaking degree.
They are locked down. And it's not going to.
And you had obviously had no problem getting back.
I had a little bit of a hiccup at the airport with these dude, Aaron, you'd love this story. So I'm flying home, right? Because I want to get home before Biden is inaugurated because I know he's going to start signing some executive orders and God knows I'm going to be locked down. And so I fly out on the 18th. I fly from Orlando to Seattle and I'm going to actually get on the worst airline I've ever been on, Alaska Airlines. And I get to the gate and this chick, kid you not, she's probably like 6 foot, a solid 320 pounds. Huge, okay? Vince McMahon wants her to fucking sign a contract. She's a massive creature. And I get to the gate and she's so flustered. There's 4 women up there. The flight is about to be board. They are scrambling because nobody understands the COVID procedures. Nobody. And so I had to purchase an open-ended one-way ticket, right? So I actually ended up paying $5,500 for my ticket home to Tokyo because it was that or risk staying here and getting locked down and with Biden. And I was like, no way. So I get to the gate and they're like, oh, sir, actually, you have a coronavirus test, but you need a PCR test to enter Canada because I had to fly to Canada I had to go to Vancouver to go to Tokyo, right? So I had to travel, literally, I traveled over 24 hours. Orlando, Seattle, Vancouver, Tokyo. So they were like, oh, well, actually, you have to take PCR tests, so you can't stay. So you're not allowed to get on the flight. And you need to go book a hotel here, take a PCR test in the airport, and you can fly out tomorrow morning. And I was like, no, you're wrong. Your website said nothing about this, and this is fucking ridiculous. So of course I'm the big bad man, right? God forbid I speak up to the women's, right? Because they're just infinitely right. So then she brings her squad of idiots over. Now it's 3 other women. So this little Asian chick looks at me. She's like, sir, you really need to calm down because I understand your situation. And I looked at her and I pointed her and I was angry. I was yelling. I was like, you don't understand shit because I paid $5,000 for my ticket and you didn't. I'm going to have to be stranded in this city because of your incompetence. And I'm not doing this shit. Then they call the manager. Now you have some fucking 21-year-old with a walkie-talkie coming over to me. Sir, can you please step over here? And I start forming a coalition of like disgruntled old white guys because these 2 old white guys saw me screaming. And they're like, yeah, I have the fucking same problem. These dumb bitches won't let me on. They showed me their papers. They showed me their medical exemptions. So now they close the gate and they're like, you're not going to Canada, just so you know. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, there's no way I'm doing this shit. You bitches are wrong. I'm right. So I end up, I'm so angry and I finally go to the Canada's government website. And I said, I am not going to Canada, you dumb whores. I am transiting in Canada. So I don't need a fucking PCR test. And I hold up the cell phone. I don't even work there. And I have to hold up the cell phone and be like, hey, morons, this is how you do your fucking job. absolute dead silence. Couple calls, couple clicks, and then they send over this chick and this older white lady. She's like, sir, we are very sorry about what happened. We're actually going to let you on. She's like, could you let us know which attendant was helping you? I was like, this one right here. And I pointed to the big bitch. And then they opened the gate, and then they finally let me on after my blood pressure was higher than Aaron Clarey's during one of his fucking YouTube videos. So I was dealing with that stupidity. And of course it happened in Seattle, Washington, right? It was just, and I was just so happy to get out of America. Like, it was so funny because there was 4 of them, and they were so convicted that I was wrong. They're like, they were condescendingly speaking to me like, oh, you poor, stupid man. You probably voted for Trump. You're just one of those misguided souls. And then I almost got stranded there. If I didn't like get angry and like make a stink about things and delay the process and then pull up the information on my phone, I would have been stranded there out. And let me tell you something. Japanese airlines, they don't give a fuck. They weren't refunding me up. They'd be like, oh, sorry, you missed your flight. You're gonna have to pay some more money. Because I was flying All Nippon Airlines ANA on the way from Vancouver to Tokyo. So just a crazy headache, man. I'm so glad I'm out of America. I seriously got depressed when I was there. Like, I met up with Vince and stuff, took me out to dinner, met with Jimbo.
I get depressed too if I was hanging out with Vince. Wait, I did get depressed hanging out.
Yeah, because Vince actually, has a life.
No, Vince is the man. Vince, you got a present on the way.
Oh, thank you.
That's incredible that they say. It's like, listen, I spent $5,000 on this. You could just check. Yeah. You could just check. You lose 10 seconds of your time. I lose $5,000.
Well, yeah, you have to. Quiet competence will get you nowhere. You have to speak up for yourself, and John was right to do so. And they assumed without checking your flight, and Aaron will like this, your flight itinerary.
Yeah,
they didn't check your flight itinerary and assumed too much.
It was so funny because you could see that there was a moment of pressure for them to get everybody on the plane, and there was 4 women, and they were just so scatterbrained. They couldn't do it. They couldn't tell people, get in a line, shut up, and let me read the computer. It was just truly a lesson in 101. Females can't do it better than men.
Yep.
And that's part of why the nation is kind of, whittling away. There's too many dumb people in positions of power, and that's like even pseudo power there. But it's so funny how they're just like, I told him, I was like, listen, the main concern here is the coronavirus. I was like, I have a negative coronavirus test right here. It's here. But you want this paper to say PCR. So what if I went into the other room and I photoshopped this fucking document that said I have a negative PCR test? Now you let me on the plane? But they can't think for themselves. They can't think independently. And here we are.
Yeah. It's about the procedure to them. And because the procedure is what gives them power. Yeah. And anything that questions that or anything that undercuts it needs to be shoved off to the side, because this is their own petty way of enjoying themselves for the day, and they can't let anybody step on that.
Yeah, and because the procedure is what they think all powerful, they can't conceive of anyone stepping outside of that boundary and actually giving them logical grief over it.
Yeah, so it's just hilarious, man. But man, I got out, thank God. I mean, yeah, I'm just glad to be here, man. None of you guys have been to Japan, huh? None of you guys here?
Not yet. It's on the list, though. We're definitely coming out to visit you. That's for sure.
It'll be awesome.
There will be a Masculine Geek trip to Japan.
Well, what can I say? Well, I gotta go. I'm gonna go have some Indian food. I love you guys. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy, John. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Be safe over there.
Peace out, bro.
Later. And then there was Chevron.
He should have
used your fingers, Vince.
Grabbed the hair and slapped the
stewardess. Cappy, I'm going to have to buy Bachelor Pad Economics soon. I'm going to be moving to Dallas at some point between March and March and May.
Why does moving to Dallas compel you to buy that book? That doesn't make sense to me.
Advice.
advice, but it's not about Texas. It has nothing to do with Dallas.
Oh my God, Cappy! You're not selling your book well. It's a book about how to deal with stuff that involves moving from one area to another. Like that one principle you taught.
That's what I
Tell all the stuff.
This is because he had it ghost wrote. He doesn't know.
He didn't even fucking remember.
Oh,
what
right,
the hell.
right. Well, anyways, so whoever wrote Bachelor Pad Economics in the book, you pay for something thrice: when you buy it, when you store it, and when you move it. So when you have to rent out a truck to move stuff, you're paying for it. So
don't take anything with you.
Right. So the point of being a minimalist is that if you need something, Walmart and all these other places have it for you when you need it because they're open generally, most of the day. And so you don't need to have it with you directly at that exact moment. That's assuming that you live in an urban area. But I kind of took that to heart when I was living a minimalist life, not anymore, but back then I was like, I don't need to have this stuff with me right now. If I need a tool, I can go to Walmart and, if you want, I'm not recommending this, but if you really want to, you can use a tool as long as it's not damaged, and then you can take it back the next day as a return item or something like that. But the whole fact is like, if you're going to accumulate stuff, it's going to cost you money, but not just when you buy it. You got to store it, and then you got to move it when you move. And
you wrote this in my book.
See, he doesn't even know.
Joshua wrote it in your book.
Joshua.
Yes, Josh Lysick. He wrote your book. You just confirmed it for me.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, I wrote this?
The problem is, unlike you guys, I'm a successful author with multiple books.
You're a successful publisher or a successful purchaser of a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I possibly remember. Do you know I have like 10 real books written?
10 real books written?
Yeah, 10 real
by somebody
books.
else.
Define real.
It's not written by somebody else. It's just like I can't remember everything I wrote. Like
in Aaron's defense, and I will not do this very often, but in Aaron's defense, it's true. Aaron cannot remember what he had for dinner yesterday. So
he can't remember what he told the good wife. Like 5 minutes
I don't think
ago.
he remembers what he had for lunch today.
Can I defend myself? Am I allowed to defend myself?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We're all about the.
It has happened 3 times. Someone puts a tweet out and tags me in it. I'm like, that's a great quote, and I retweet it, and they say you wrote it. I'm like, what? And I had to go back and like search in the Microsoft Word documents. Oh yeah, I am that smart. Yeah, that are me. I are that good. Yes.
That's pretty funny.
I only needed to be reminded of it.
There are a bunch of books on Aaron's Amazon. Holy crap! Yeah.
Thank you, Drew. You took the time to look it up. I do stuff. Yes.
I bought one just the other day.
Hey, look at that.
And read this and give it to my. Actually, I also picked up because I try to alternate. So I alternate between nonfiction and fiction. I like to read fiction before bed and then nonfiction stuff during the day. But I got to give my son your book when I'm done reading it because we're both up in the 140s. So and I've only got a little ways into it, but yet it's so far
sad,
pretty spot on.
Debilitating. Yeah. No.
It is debilitating. It is the best way that, and I've described it to people before, is consider the difference between the average person and somebody who's mentally retarded is about 30 IQ points.
Yep.
And the difference between somebody who is like on the high end gifted and the average person is about the same. Now, if you're an average person, imagine if you had to live in a world where everybody else was mentally retarded. That's sort of what it feels like sometimes when you are that far separate from people trying to have conversations. In fact, when my son was very young, he often was frustrated because of social problems that resulted from this with his classmates. And actually, his is higher than mine. Mine is like 142. He's like 147, 148 or something. And I told him, think of it like this. If you were going to help somebody who is really old and slow across the street, you have to slow down and take your time to get them there. You can't just grab them and drag them. And having conversations with normal people is going to, and I probably shouldn't have used that, with other people is sort of the same kind of thing, in that you just have to slow down and wait for them because they're going to take them a lot longer to get there when you're talking about stuff. But it is incredibly frustrating most of the time.
It's described as the communications gap in some circles. So your son, if he ever ends up working in the service industry, he's going to run into that. Don't let him do it, because he's going to run into this concept.
Yeah, that won't happen. If anything, my guess is he will go into something with languages. He's 15 now, but he spends most of his time, this is like his hobby, learning other languages and writing systems. And he's taken ASL and German and French, and he's teaching himself Korean, and he can read some stuff like in Japanese and Korean and Hebrew and all this other stuff. That's just his fun. And I had clients years ago who moved because they were offered very good paying jobs doing translation for 3-letter agencies. I had a client once who spoke English and Hebrew and Farsi and some other Middle Eastern languages, and they offered him a lot of money just to do that. So I figure, although eventually AI might take over all the translation stuff. Yeah, anyways, going off on a tangent, he does not belong in any kind of a service-related industry. And if I was not in exercise, I probably couldn't have stood it either, because with the personal training, a lot of it is interacting with people, but it isn't having a conversation so much as it is lecturing people and answering their questions about stuff and telling them what to do. So it's not too bad, but yeah, it is. Anyway, it's a great book from what I've read so far, and I'm only a little ways into it, but yeah, it'll be going to him as soon as I'm done with it.
Drew, I got a question, Drew. Like, have you ever thought about, is your kid in the public schools? Because, like, pull him the F out. Have him just.
We would like to.
Well, can't you? Because that kid could probably, like, if he's that good at languages, he could learn to program a computer language, and by the age of like 17, be earning $40 an hour. And like, I mean, there's no reason to. Because I don't know about your guys' opinion, but school is child abuse. I fucking hated school.
I'll fucking endorse that.
I know where my ex-teachers are, and it's like, well, if I ever get cancer, you're not leaving this planet without me, you worthless fucking bint. I'm just thinking, like, you've got to get your kid out of that. There's no reason he should be like handicapped in that environment.
You know what? My wife and I both are able to work from home now, so it's probably practical that we could do that. I'll have to sit down and talk with them about it, and because and also we wanted to move. We want to get out away. We're close to Orlando, too close, because if things get as bad as I expect them to over the next couple of years, I'm going to want to be very far from Orlando. And one of the reasons we haven't moved yet is because we want to stay in this school district, because the school district we're in is, as far as public schools or government schools, we call them what they are, go, it's one of the better ones in this area. Some of the surrounding high schools, I would not feel comfortable going there unless I was armed. So, and of course,
it doesn't matter. It could be a good school or a bad school.
It's a government school, not a good school.
No. It could be the greatest private school ever. Your kid is way more capable of being an autodidactic and teaching himself with under your tutelage. That kid could get whatever, his GED or his high school diploma online. and I think I speak for everyone here. I'm being serious. Even Nick and Rob, I think they're that intelligent, which is shocking. We probably could have all gotten our high school diploma at 14. Okay. And I don't know why we waste 4 years in high school bullshit.
My
We could
parents,
have all like gone, and especially now with the internet, we could have trained and taught ourselves something important and valuable. And I just, I don't think anyone else here.
I could have
complete waste of
skipped
time,
the whole thing, but my parents didn't want me to be outside of my peer group.
Yeah, but it's
They
not
thought
you
that
we're
it-
talking
but-
about. We're talking. No one cares.
I'm gonna
about you.
help
We
you
care
guys
about your
out with
kid.
this because I was homeschooled for part of my education. It was after my dad passed that we couldn't really keep it up, or my mother couldn't keep it up. But most of the curriculums available have a heavy emphasis on self-teaching, and it's something, especially if your kid is as smart as he is, he's gonna be the perfect companion to those curriculums. They might be a little bit behind him, is how smart you're describing him as. And of course, you'll be there to guide him if he needs any additional, just needs a person to be there for additional guidance. But like, you have to be 16 in order to grab your GED in New Jersey. I wanted to do that. I wasn't allowed to. My mother didn't want me at home for more time than was absolutely necessary. And
I'd actually prefer it. I'd rather have him here than going to school.
Exactly. It sounds like you love your kid. It sounds like you enjoy spending time with him. It sounds like you don't have the communications gap, which is something that he's gonna need that in his life. You are a rare instance in his life. Spend more time with him, bring him home, get him out of that environment as quickly as fucking possible. Don't wait for the move. You are going to send that kid light years ahead of where he was already going to be, which was ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. Well, if we could get him his GED, because he'll be 16, it'll be next year in November. But if he could get his GED now and just start taking college classes, and there's no reason he probably can't. He took the PSAT recently, and we don't have scores or anything yet, but I asked him how it went, and he said, well, it was easy. There's like nothing. So yeah, and most of his friends, as far as the social stuff, most of his friends are people that he talks to online. In fact, playing D&D tonight, he's got most of his friends he gets together with and does D&D online, kind of like what we've been doing. So yeah, as for a good point Robert brought up, never let school get in the way of your education. It is frustrating. And again, I think Aaron pointed, I don't know if it was in his book or maybe I read it somewhere else, but for most of society, you've got people that are all the way across this bell curve. But most of the people are in the middle, and most things naturally are going to be tailored to those people. And then you've got the people that are a bit off to the left who aren't quite there, and they kind of got to slow things down to accommodate these people to a certain degree. But then the people that are way to the right don't get things that are, and there are gifted programs, but they don't get the same resources. There isn't as much devoted to making sure that they are educated to the best of their abilities and at the pace that they are capable of. So yeah, school for a lot of people, unless you're able to find some place that specializes in people who are exceptional, is just boring and frustrating more than anything else. So yeah, we'll have to sit down and have a serious discussion about this, because I agree. And now, since we're here anyways, and I never plan to not work at home again. I have no interest in getting an office anywhere else. It doesn't make any sense when I can do literally everything that I do here. So there's no reason that we wouldn't be able to do that. So yeah, I think it's a good move.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, that would be I built my extension office, my in and out building, and I'd be more inclined to use it if I had a family. So I would totally be. Yeah, there was an outbuilding that like you put a snowmobile or some sort of dirt bike or whatever. It's probably a 120 square foot room, but I turned it into a remote office so I can go over there and do kind of work stuff. But I don't really use it now because I can do this stuff in my house and it's just a smaller room. And I feel with all the lockdowns still going on in my state, it feels like a prison cell. Like I'm not allowed to like leave and whatever. And I live in a rural area. Like if I lived in an urban area, it might be different. But I feel like if I had a family, I would be doing the same thing. My mindset is if I had a family, I'd be doing the same thing you're doing, like with the home office thing. I just do that as a matter of fact because I work online. So
It's
that's kind of my
so
thought.
much easier. And working online is as long as you can be disciplined about your schedule. And this is something that I had difficulty with when I started doing this, and I had to finally get. Although I've kind of gone the other way, where now I need to make myself take breaks. It is very easy to get distracted with stuff at first. But when I was working, I was doing training. I would usually have clients from 6 a.m. until sometimes 7, 8 at night. It would be spread throughout the day. So I would have time between clients to write, but I was at the studio. And so I couldn't really go anywhere. I might only have half an hour between, clients now and then. So it allowed me to be able to get writing done in between appointments throughout the days. And I didn't have any other distractions. I couldn't really go anywhere because there wasn't time to get back before the next client. But as soon as I started working at home, it got a lot easier to just, I don't feel like doing this right now. I'll do this or that. But once you actually get into a rhythm of it and you have your schedule and you're able to stay on task, I would not trade this for anything. And with all the lockdowns never needed to happen. There was never any justification. There still isn't any justification. The whole thing is nonsense. And not going to say who, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I've talked with somebody who is an epidemiologist about this, and they said this whole thing is about control and money, that none of this was ever justified by any of the science. There's no reason at all for the lockdowns. None. Never has been. Never has been. So, but despite that, with my wife working at home, just the money that we save monthly in gas, in the money on car maintenance from her going to and from work has been huge. It's just the hassle of having to get up early and do everything and then go to a place and come. There is so much wasted money. And I don't know if it's happening. I'm imagining that it is, and it's probably going to if it hasn't already. But I suspect that there's a whole lot of businesses who are finding that a lot of their employees are getting just as much done, if not more, from home, and that they're wasting money paying for office space. So I would be surprised if a lot of companies are not planning on switching to remote work for at least for the people that are able to do it productively.
Drew, why do you hate the boomers? I mean, like, that's like the only thing they got to look for in life is like controlling younger people to force them to commute. Why do you hate them so much? Why do you hate the boomers? Can't you just let them like have their last, like suck the last drop of blood on the younger generations?
I hate anybody and anything that seeks to control other people for the sake of control.
So you hate the boomers?
Absolutely. If that is the definition of a boomer, then 100%
we're all
I do.
on the same page.
Yeah.
It's never made sense to me for office work anyways, unless if you have the internet. We are all over the country and we are sitting here having a conversation. There's absolutely nothing that would ever need to happen in a meeting that we couldn't do online. In fact, it'd probably even be more efficient online.
At least jerk off while you're online. It's below the table, like TJ does.
Aaron, stop projecting.
There is no reason for the vast majority of people, unless they have to physically interact with a product or provide a physical service. Obviously, your auto mechanic can't work, But your auto mechanic, if he's got the tools, might be able to work from home depending on the type of work that they're doing. Obviously, you need lifts and some other things. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know exactly what they do, but I would imagine that there's some work that they might be able to do from home or just get their own. Anyways, I don't know. But with stuff like this, a lot of office work, people shouldn't even have to go. There's no point.
I think you're going to see, I'm going to make a slightly different prediction. I think you're going to see, once things open up, I think you're going to see work centers open up for just like not owned for, this one company has this office floor, but this company owns a work center paid by other companies to send some employees there or have the space available for their employees. Because some of those employees might need the atmosphere, or might just need to go to a separate place to tell them, like, this is the time to work. Like, they suffer from the distractions and stuff like that. But otherwise, I think I agree. Like, you're not going to see the office as we knew it is probably not coming back.
I think that's a good thing.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Very true.
And I hate wearing ties and dress shoes and all that other crap too. So
that's why you would have like this particular, it's just a couple of office rooms and stuff like that. People can walk in. There's probably going to be, a cafeteria. You have people from different offices and different businesses. They're all hanging out in a cafeteria in between self-set breaks or whatever. And just to get some social interaction in, because Jesus, people are going to need that after the past year.
That's the only thing that would be a possible negative for some people is not having the socializing that comes with, but they're still online. So the way that our house is set up, the gym / office is built on the back of it. And there's a kitchen, food prep, pantry area, and the dining room. And then there's a hall that goes around the corner. My wife's office is right around the corner. And she's supposed to be doing office type stuff, but a good chunk of the day, she's gabbing with girls from the office too. They're talking work stuff, but there's a lot of it. So I know that they're still doing the whole socializing thing as well. People really aren't missing the socializing. It's just in a different format.
Yeah, it depends on the person. There's a different threshold for what they consider. Like, I swear, some people just need to breathe in CO2 from other people, or else they just go nuts. I have friends like that where it's like, I go out with my buddies and something like that. It's like, all right, I have a great time, and then I'm going to go home. I'm going to sit for 2 days with like an ice pack on my head and play video games. I'm not going to see the sun for the next 2 days because I'm just tired, feel wiped and stuff. Like, they are the complete opposite, where like if they do not go out once a week, they die inside. It's such a weird thing, but I think those people you're going to see go back out and try to breathe life back into social interaction, the type of face-to-face interaction that most of them are just used to at this point. But besides that, it's like, hey, we can chill out at home.
If it wasn't for women, I could probably just, assuming that I was single, go for months. If I've got books and I've got work to do, I'm good.
The only people that I've encountered since the beginning of all this bullshit that actually, when they started reopening things and letting people go back to the office, the only people that I encountered that were glad to be back in the office were who, guys? Aaron, who, besides boomers as a group, which gender was happy to be back in the office?
They got nothing else in life, of course. They were completely conditioned and programmed to put their entire value in their careers. Of course, women. Of course.
Yes. The guys were either indifferent, they're just like, meh, whatever. Or the guys were like, nah, I'd rather be back home. I could get more shit done. It was the women that were like, I'm so glad to be back in the office. And it's like, yeah, because you guys are standing around fucking jerking each other off, talking over, over coffee about nothing.
What are you jerking off?
I'm going to tell you a story about that. And I'm not going to name any names.
20 feet of an intercom again.
But because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I knew somebody who worked in a medical office with some other doctors. And he was not, it wasn't his practice, but he worked in their practice. And they had a staff of something like 15, 16 women. And this particular doctor looked at all the work that got done and all of the women that they had on the staff and found that the vast majority of them were wasting time drinking coffee and bullshitting and not doing any work. And that if just a few of them were cross-trained on the others' jobs, that they could eliminate about half the staff or half the hours. The doctors were wasting money paying these women to drink coffee and gab. Huge waste. And so when he presented this information to the doctors and it got to these women that they would actually have to work, they mutinied, and this doctor ended up being let go from the practice because otherwise all of them would have walked off because they didn't want to have to actually do the work that they were supposed to be doing. Later started his own practice and is wildly successful, does better than every other doctor of his type in his area, and is far more profitable because he's not paying a bunch of people to sit around and do nothing. But his staff do like him. So, yeah, if you don't rein them in, that's exactly what they'll do. Sit around and bullshit and gab and drink coffee and do as little work as they can get away with.
Well, it's not just that. It's, for the last 15, 16 years, I've been working remotely and managing remote teams. And one of the biggest problems we had was, and you would think this would not be an issue since most people work from their homes, but one of the biggest problems we had was with our female employees who would, basically flirt and sext with as many dudes as they could on Skype and company chat and shit like that. And we had one that had to be fired for it. We had, we had a C-level executive who was encouraging it. And you would think that with everybody working remotely, that wouldn't be an issue, but it still is. And I never had problems on my team because I didn't have any women on my team, but the other teams had a lot of HR issues come up, even though people work remotely because, being the tech guy, I got to see a lot of what was being said. And, a lot of those women were, not that some of the men didn't participate too, but the women tended to be the instigators more than anything else.
Interesting. Well, what it reminds me of is I've done call center work in the past before I got into the industries that I'm currently involved in. And when I was in the call center biz, it wasn't dealing with irate customers on the phone that drove me nuts. I actually was okay with those people. It's like, they're going to yell, they're going to rant, they're going to rave, and I'm going to just, mute my microphone so they don't hear me laughing at them or whatever. And let them go off. And when they run out of steam, then I'm going to come back on and tell them no. And that's how it's going to be. And when they go, well, I want to speak to the manager, you're talking to him, because that's where I was at that point.
Rob, you're so sexy.
Yeah, exactly. The part I hated about call center work the most was sitting in a cubicle and then dealing with office politics. Dealing with the women drinking the coffee and getting offended over every little thing and having to have meetings about dress codes and all the bullshit. And so I would almost think, but you're giving me a different take here, Nick, that because I've thought about it and I thought, well, if I get tired of doing what I'm doing, it's a younger man's game. I can't keep doing what I'm doing right now forever. That if I was to go back to like call center work, I would want to work from home. And most of the call center work here in Utah, at least, that's what they're all doing. They're all working remotely because I'm usually the guy going into their buildings to pick up their confidential documents and whatnot for destruction. Well, they're all shut down still because all their employees are working at home. And the one or two people that are in the office, they're not reopening anytime soon. And it sounds like the management is actually considering going permanently work from home because it is working so successfully. They are saving a ton of money. They don't have to pay all the overhead for the building and the heating and the lighting and all that crap. But hearing your take on it, it's like, oh, that's interesting, because I didn't think about that. But otherwise, I'm thinking, God, I could probably tolerate call center work if I could work from home and literally, ideally, not have to see anybody, other than the occasional Skype meeting or something. It's like, that's my take.
In our situation, also most of the men tried not to participate. Not all of them, but tried not to participate because they knew that everything that was being typed in a chat was
it's recorded. Yep.
Now the women either didn't give a shit or didn't know or both. But most of the dudes that I talked to, we just tell them, look, if this shit continues, you just need to not respond at all, because everything's recorded somewhere. And just because you're not in the same office grabbing some chick's ass doesn't mean you can't get Me Too'd or whatever.
Yeah, you can't get a sexual harassment complaint anyway.
Well, the point was that it's even worse when it's online, because then there's, if you do participate to whatever degree, it's recorded. At least, if you grab some chick's ass, it's your word against hers. Now she's the one who's going to be believed, but still there's some ambiguity there. But there's no ambiguity when it's all in the database somewhere.
Right.
Database.
I just want to say TJ's book was also good, going back 30 minutes ago.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Was that on your itinerary to discuss?
No, I did a review. TJ did. No. I did 2 reviews of TJ. The Song of Wolfgar, which should be taken in, I think, the audio format with Jack Napier, because he has the gay European voice.
Yes.
But then also his book, The Pilgrims Digress, was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
And I hate to say that with TJ here. It was good. Our retarded boy actually wrote something that I would say is phenomenal.
Should you, in the back of the book, TJ, when you have the author photo, you have to be wearing that sweater with Reese and your pipe on a hike.
Oh, my next author photo is going to have me. I have actually 2. I have this one. I have a dark blue one. So we'll see what happens.
This way, Aaron can pull it out and use it in one of those fake news things and mock you again.
This is a book that needs to be written in a man's or read in a man's voice.
Not Jack's.
Dude, I played no joke. I played the audio at a party, a house party, and man, people were they liked it. They liked the story, but they also liked the voice. And I had to explain to them, like, no, that's not a 50-year-old Scotsman. It's a 30-year-old freaky deaky Dutch guy.
Man.
Right.
you freaky deaky Dutch bastard.
I'll have to listen, because I just. So it doesn't sound like he's like 16 or something when he's.
No, Drew. I'll cut to the chase, because even though it pains me to give people compliments, it is the perfect mix of TJ's writing and Jack's Holland, Dutch, Belgium, Danish, whatever little gay country in Europe it is. It does the perfect. It's perfect, yeah. And you do want to take it in with Jack's audio, because Jack did a hell of a job.
Awesome.
Yes, Mick, I did play it, and it was. People enjoyed it. I mean, people were asking me about Jack and who he was, and I said, "Yeah, you think he's Scottish, but he's not. But
he just diddles little kids."
Yeah, it is a little bit of that sound in there. But yeah,
damn it, Cappy! You got. Gotta just take everything to the dark side.
So there's
no,
no
but-
list.
No, one thing I'm gonna be serious here, but Aaron did in his reviews, he really does get the point of these books. So his reviews are very accurate in terms of describing the books and some of the stuff. Like I did put a lot of thought into each sentence of Wolfgar because it was just a short book, but also I was thinking about it. I wrote it to be spoken, so people can buy the physical copy like Drew did, but I wrote it as something to be recited, like something that people would listen to in a
How
audio
long?
voice.
How long does it take to get through the whole thing?
That you could probably
To
read.
actually read it out loud.
Oh, read it out loud. Jack took 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you're right about that, TJ. One thing I did appreciate about the book, because that could have been like a 800-page Lord of the Rings type of thing, but
Right.
it is to be read. It is to be passed down as a story bedtime kind of thing to kids.
It's like Beowulf.
And you could see exactly where TJ very efficiently, like, okay, I could go into detail here, or I could just say he smoked them. And you're like, to keep up with the cadence and the intention of that book, he was very precise and succinct in his word choice. And again, it really hurts me to say this in front of TJ because it indicates he knew what he was doing and he was accomplishing. But it
The
is
title
a very
makes
good
more
work
sense
of
in
art.
this context. It is a song or an epic rather than a long.
Tone. Yes, exactly. And it,
Right.
it moves along in a great cadence. So, and that's why I really loved it, because this is something, especially with Jack's voice, you could play it for your little 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old may not get all the nuance, but you could also play it for a 12-year-old, and the 12-year-old would still be engaged in it, even though it may not have the detail. But yeah, it's a heck of a story.
Awesome.
For
Yes,
gay people.
Bull Rush. My books are actually very my new books have been very brief. Pilgrim's Digress was very short. I've got another book that's coming out through Terror House this year that is going to be just as long. And then I just signed a contract for another book that I wrote that's going to be like 110 pages. So it's good. I'm writing very short works. It's funny how the joke is I'm not very brief, but my writing now has been very brief and concise.
So this would be okay for like my 10-year-old nephew to read.
It'd be perfect.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome. No,
TJ, I have a serious question about authoring. I mean, I know I'm older. Okay, I've written a couple more books, but I do have a question of like technique and profession.
You had someone ghostwrite your books.
No,
Let's
I
get
didn't.
that straight.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need to know when I want to take a author picture, what kind of turtleneck do you recommend? Like really gay? Just kind of gay?
Kinda. Go with kinda.
Kinda?
Like
Okay.
sort of like what you're wearing
Do I
now,
need those
Aaron.
braided bands going down? And how high should the turtleneck come? Like right up to here?
It should cover your nose with this COVID crap. Yes. It's a multi-purpose turtleneck.
Cappy, it's like what I told John. I'm more interested in the feedback I got today than what from people I got it from than from you. So it's funny. But I mean, if you want to get the same feedback, get one of these on Amazon.
Gray, dark gray, black. Is black too emo for a turtleneck sweater? What? I mean, give me.
Well,
when I pose, pipe.
Go with the white.
Top? What do I got?
Aaron, go with the white turtle, the white cable,
turtleneck?
the white
Okay.
cable knit turtleneck for yourself.
Full
And
beard, millennial beard, like TJ's got going on.
No. Grow out a goatee for yourself.
Goatee. Okay.
A goatee. Yep. Do
Like,
that.
I've never
Grow it
this is
like
the-
Santa Claus, like that guy on YouTube. That's what you need to do.
Now just dawned
So
on
this
me. I
is-
think everybody here does have a beard. Look at us all.
we all have.
mine
No,
was
I'm just
trimmed way down now, though.
no.
Is Nick
So,
got a
I mean,
beard? Or
this
is he
is-
clean cut?
Nick is
No,
not.
Nick is clean. He's the one
Nick's the one gay
oddball.
guy. Okay.
No, this is the first it's not. I don't consider it a turtleneck, but it's the first one that has this.
That's
that
a
I've
mock
ever
turtleneck,
bought.
isn't it?
Well, no, it goes up higher, but I just keep it down here because I'm trying to like. There was the one
Trying to not let
nobody
anybody
has.
know that it's a turtleneck.
Exactly.
Well, no, but like there's
Gays
one
have
that
facial
Robert.
hair, you know that, right?
What was that?
There's one that Robert. Jeez.
Most
There's
gays
one
have.
that Robert. So there's one like this that Robert Shaw wore in Jaws that I always wanted, but I cannot find a single one like it. I have one like it for that I got in Ireland, but it doesn't have the neck. It's like cut kind of. It's a little short for my taste. It's also big, so I want something that was a little bit shorter because it just works during the winters here. Like I can just wear this and it'll be 30 degrees outside, and I don't need to wear a whole lot else on that. But you know, it's almost like it's not what you're. It's not. I understand what you're wearing is important, but it's also how you're wearing it. Because there's a lot of like guys who wear stuff and they don't wear it like they're supposed to. So,
I give you guff about the turtleneck, but like if I ever want to be, you know, like the protagonist in a bad '70s film, I'd wear that turtleneck. And, you know,
no. This would be you wear this in the '60s, dude. Oh my God, Mick.
Who wore that? Steve McQueen didn't wear that.
Steve McQueen wore a turtleneck. So
Yeah, but it was black.
Yeah, dude.
That's
Oh my
70s
God,
gay. Like
Yeah,
okay,
the word
Logan's
gay
Run.
and
Have you
Steve
guys speaking of masculine geek? Yeah,
You
okay.
use the word gay and Steve McQueen in the same sentence.
Yeah, as
Like-
opposites.
No, but Steve McQueen wore a turtleneck too. Like guy,
It
like,
was black.
This is kind of where I'm a little pushing back a little bit. Is like the guys wore stuff that we today say, oh, you can't wear it. It's like, yeah, guys wore it. You wore it differently than how they wear it now. It's like flannel. I love flannel, but the hipsters in Seattle kind of ruined it. I like my beard, but I kind of got to deal with the fact that Seattleites ruin the beard. So, you know, we it's like how you wear the beard and it's how you wear the shirt or the turtle wool, whatever you're wearing. You know, like I remember when back in like 8 years ago, it was a big fad in Seattle because I was working out there where guys would wear jeans, blue jeans, and they'd wear a waistcoat like they was at the 30s.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had the beard and the whole trim beard thing. And I like was kind of getting into the 30s like attire, but then I thought I'm gonna look like a hipster, so I'm just not gonna wear it.
They do that shit out here too, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Got a waistcoat, see?
Nah.
James, I'm trying to download your audio file here. I got chapter 1 wave. How do I do this? Trying to
Click the download button.
this. I need some boomer help here.
Okay,
Jesus.
so are you
Okay,
looking at
new-
Drive?
I'm at the drive, yeah. My drive. Okay.
Okay, so are you on Sandy's The Future of Wealth?
James Streisand uploaded today, chapter 1 wave. Is that it?
Yep, it should be in the folder called New.
New. Oh, shared with me. Open with. Oh, here's a download. Okay, there we go.
Imagine that.
Further
Hey,
proof
James,
that
this
he's
came
never
out way
written a
better.
book.
It just piped in my audio right now. That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I managed to shorten that one down because my first few takes were like 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 50 seconds, and then this one's like 2 minutes, 10 seconds or something.
All right. Because you guys should have heard it before. I'm going to save these files so we can play it before. But James would come in like this. And it was a little bit drunk, even though it was completely sober.
Happy doesn't like.
And I was like, yeah, James, these people.
is typically known for on the internet.
Guys, we'll see you later.
All right, Drew.
Night,
Catch up with you
Drew.
later. We'll be calling it a night soon too. So
All right, so I downloaded this. I think I got. Oh, here's the file. Look at that, downloaded. Wow, it's technology.
Isn't it interesting?
It
For the
is.
magical
These
world
Gen Z kids and their technology. It's so amazing. And they're fat women with hairy badges. It's great.
I am so excited to go down to that. That's why, like, tonight I'm going to be working through the book of numbers because, like, I'm excited to see. I set my Tinder. I bought Tinder again because I wanted to change locations and stuff like that. I sent it to Dallas. I just started going through, and I was on a call with one of my buddies in the meantime. I was just sitting there, like, just saying, like, another skinny woman, another skinny woman,
You're
another.
good in Dallas.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this.
Right.
Are you moving to Dallas for serious then?
I am going to move down there. I'm going to have a down there, and then probably once a month or once every 2 months, I'm going to come back up to Philadelphia, New Jersey area to meet up with friends and stuff like that. You'll be happy to know I've already started looking for night security gigs down there.
Hey, dude! And if you bought the right recording equipment, you could totally pull that off while you're working and patrolling. You could double dip. It'd be
That's
awesome.
the idea. Or if I just have my notebook there, like I'm a tabletop writer. I just
Yep.
It'll work nicely.
hanging out while I'm there.
Now, you guys that never gave me shit about this, but other people have, like, oh, working security, da-da-da.
Well, now we're going to.
Any idea what a magic bullet that is, or nighttime work or night watch?
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. I used to do that.
It's like one of the things that you mentioned. I think one of your many descriptions of it was the fact, like, you don't have anything else to do there. You can work through that college textbook. You can start writing and stuff like that because you just need to make your rounds once every 15 minutes or however long it is nowadays. And you got the whole night ahead of you. It's not like I'm going to be playing video games there. I could have a small notebook there and just bang out a chapter of an RPG product or do a little bit of recording if I have the right microphone with me.
To be perfectly honest, I still have dreams of working security, and like I'll miss my patrol or shift. And I'm not kidding; it's like twice a week.
Really?
Yeah, it's because it was that integral back in my formative years in my mind. Then I also dream of like this area. I don't know if you guys have this. Not to sound too geeky, but do you guys always dream of the same area, like a place, and you always keep going back and revisiting it?
Yep. I've had that too, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because there's like in my mind, I've created this world that's part South Dakota, part Wyoming, but there's a city center. And it's the weirdest thing because I always go back and there are the same buildings, the same place. Of course, your dream will take you other ways, but there's always this nucleus, this nexus that exists. And I don't think it is odd. And maybe I guess it is eerie, but it's cool as fuck because it's almost this other world I go to. And it provides some stability to my dreams, which I'm not a big dream person or believer in dreams, but it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I was at that place. Oh wait, I really wasn't because it was a dream, but I was conscious at the time. So fuck it.
Have you written anything down, like describing it or anything?
Not really. About as esoteric as I've gotten. I've already emailed it to you, and I emailed it to James. Is that Meditations by James?
Yeah,
That's about as soft as I'm ever going to get with my writing.
Gotcha. Everything else is soft, we know. So
yeah. Kill the freaking commies. Yeah, it's really soft, lighthearted stuff. No, but that was it's. And wait till you read about Return to 4. I talk about how it's important to return to the age of 4, and I think that's every adult responsibilities or their main responsibility is to return to the age of 4.
Yes,
And,
that hasn't really left you, so that works nicely. Finally.
Hey, look, hey guys, look, the government worker who just sits on his ass and collects a pension. He said something funny. Look at that.
No, because the only work dreams I ever had was I think I was 15. And I was simping over this one girl who had shown, we had been friends and stuff like that. And all of a sudden she switched to let's date and then let's not date and stuff like that. I remember having a dream about me mowing greens at the golf course while texting her because that had been my day every single day for the past month of that time. And that was the point at which I started cutting things off was like, oh, I need to go outside at like not the golf course, somewhere other than the golf course. My day has been stuck on loop.
Do any of you have the nightmare horror of you're still in college and you haven't graduated yet? Does anyone have
Dude,
that?
but I did have
where you've signed up for a class and all of a sudden you realize you have the final exam, but you've never gone to any of the classes up to that point.
Dude, Vince,
TJ,
no,
what were you
I'm
gonna
not.
say? Because I was kind
Yeah.
of curious about your opinion.
No, dude, Vince, and I had that nightmare for high school and college where
Yeah.
I would wake up and feel like I completely like forgot to even attend a class that I was taking.
Exactly. Isn't that weird? It's almost universal.
Yeah, and like it was. I'm not like these are one of those like very vivid. They to the point where it almost feels like a memory for me. Like this was a class I did not show up to, and now I got to go take it. Now, in my case, it might be due to the fact that I got an email from I don't remember who it was, but they said you actually don't. This was after I thought I graduated. They said you actually don't have enough credits to graduate.
Yes,
and I took one, and but I took one of her emails from the year before that she had sent me and said, "You said if I took these many credits, I'd graduate. What's going on?" And the next email was, "You've got your like graduation certificate." Like they didn't argue after that point. I said, "I'm really confused about what's going on." So, yeah, I've had those dream or nightmares. And they've been very like vivid. They weren't like those, whatever. It's like you wake up with a cold sweat.
You wake up sweating. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why did I waste my life? Why am I still in college at 43?
Yeah, you're like, these ever going to? Doesn't happen very often, but here and there, exactly. TJ and Aaron, absolutely.
So that's what I look forward to because most of my dreams right now are about the future. So I guess when I get to your age,
wait till you get older.
Yeah.
I had this dream that I was stuck in this Cascadian town hanging out with a guy who had like no heat in his house. He always wore turtlenecks, and I had to go into town to like get coffee and truffles at the chocolate store to write my
you had to go into town, and I had to like explain to everyone why my friend was running around asking for where the gay bar was.
I also had another nightmare where I went to this place in Salt Lake City and there's nothing but cats and my face blew up. I couldn't breathe. There's some constipated guy. I was like,
well, at least
fine. Don't worry, the cats are.
At least you got grumpy old man. I had a lovely dream last night that I was going to be a dad at some point. I was shopping for strollers and shit like that. That was. I'm not hell when I get old now.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I'm old. I'm tired, and I'm on West
prostate,
Coast time. And I gotta go to bed. So it's good to see you guys.
You too, sir. Later.
And just so you know, it's great to hang out with some great authors, writers, accomplished men, and Rob. So, all right, see you guys later.
All right, later, you dirty whore.
Peace, buddy.
What happened to TJ? He just dropped off.
I have nightmares that I'm in hell, and hell is being stuck on a lame live stream with a bunch of dopes.
I'm sorry, did you say something? You and your mason jar, you all trendy and shit.
How's that trendy? How's a mason jar trendy?
Oh, you don't use them to drink out of. It was something retarded restaurants came up with to serve drinks in.
Down here, everybody drinks out of mason jars still.
Do they? Well, you are 400 years old, so I guess, yeah, why not?
So it's an old Southern thing that a bunch of restaurants copped because they needed something to do. Needed something
like I said, trendy. You're doing the original version. Okay. See, up
I'm
here,
the trendsetter.
Gotcha. See, mason
for him, it's just the origin story.
Mason jars have their origin in New Jersey, so they made their way down south and became a thing. But up here on the East Coast, and a lot.
Out 04.
What'd you say?
Was that a Batstow thing? Is that where that came out 04?
In the Batstow area, yeah.
Okay. Once it shifted over to a glass mill or whatever.
There's a lot of glass mills. Yeah, glass mills. A lot of salt works. In fact, that was one of the major attack points for the British along the bays, was saying the salt mills and salt areas. That was one of the original attack points for for the British ships coming in up the bay. Great Egg Harbor Bay was to get into past. That was the Battle of Chestnut Neck, past Chestnut Neck, and make their way over inland to destroy the ironworks at Batstow. But the generals were like, yeah, overland, we don't have enough men. Our boats are kind of big. The water's shallow. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So they decided not to do that. So, which that could have turned the tide for the British if they had destroyed the ironworks there.
Yeah, because they're getting rid of getting rid of all the cannonballs that we were making.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I need to finish that second part to the Battle of Chestnut Neck.
Have you finished Laserdisc Part 4?
That will be finished up most likely by Friday, the latest. I'm about 1,000 words in.
You said that, yeah. Right.
Yeah. New Jersey is still awesome.
No, don't listen to him. Vince says that because he has a well-paying job.
No. Well, the job. That's what you make of it, and your voice will take you far. You can live anywhere with your voice, sir. So don't give me that. Do not
test that theory out.
Yes, no, that's going to happen, or we're going to kick your ass. No, as far as like the beauty of the land and the history, as far as other things, job-wise, and the corruption and the taxes here in New Jersey, yes, James is correct, and so is Bullrush. It sucks balls, but the history and the landscape and the fact that New Jersey is central to many things. If I want to go to New York, if I want to go to the Jersey Shore, the Pinelands are. James practically lives in the Pinelands. I
basically live in the Pinelands.
Yeah. So
I live on a horse farm. It is idyllic.
We've talked before about that when I took my 10-day grand tour of the Northeast, which started in New Jersey, and I drove from Newark down through the Pine Barrens to Atlantic City, and kind of meandered through there. And I thought the land and the farms and everything down there was really beautiful. It reminded me of Alabama, just colder.
Well, the route you took was very similar to the route stagecoaches and riders would take coming from the northern states, the northern colonies, down to the southernmost colonies, coming through New Jersey and getting to Philadelphia. These were transport routes. Before the rail lines, all you had was stagecoach and wagons and horse. And taverns were big. Taverns and inns were a huge thing. So you'd have all these. New Jersey has digger land. Yes, we do. In fact, it's not far from us. It's right on Route 73 in. I want to say Marlton, but I think it's Voorhees.
It's still in the Marlton area. It's about 5-10 minutes away.
Same here. Yeah. James and I, at the moment, are about 20 minutes away from each other. But yeah, Nick took a route that many stagecoaches took overland. They would stop and wet their whistle at the local tavern before continuing on to Philadelphia.
Accidentally too, because I was using Google Maps and it sent me, instead of sending me down the Garden State Parkway or whatever you call that, but it sent me further, I guess west through all of that. And I'm glad it did, because it was
yeah, you're gonna get more mountainous area. You get the Allegheny Mountains. You're getting Worthington State Forest and the Delaware Water Gap on Interstate 80 is beautiful. And then you take 80 to 46, and then you hop on 31, and that's going to take you up to the Princeton area and Pennington and whatnot.
Yeah, homeschool time. I'm in an undisclosed location in South Alabama.
Wait for that hard U-turn.
Confirm or deny that I'm near Birmingham.
That's a yes.
No, New Jersey. I almost said New Jersey. Can you believe?
Well, the spelling back in the 1600s on old maps is New Jersey with an AY, not an EY. Yeah. So a little bit of trivia there as well. I love local history. You come to New Jersey, I am the tour guide.
Absolutely. Vince knows more about this state than I do at this point.
Well, I've lived in it much longer too.
Exactly.
And it's been in the focus of my historical research.
Bull Rush says, all I want to know is, can I conquer the state with this sharp spork? Everything north of Cherry Hill, yes. Everything south of Cherry Hill, it's going to be like you were fighting in Texas.
Yep. Yeah, we still have weapons. We can't carry them, but you come to our house and you're gonna get your ass twisted.
Because things were banned doesn't mean that everybody got rid of them. That was the idea.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, everyone. It is almost 11 o'clock, so we're not playing D&D, and aside from James, we're all old and tired.
Yes.
So Rob is fading, Nick is fading, and James is on his way. So, having said that, let's do the housekeeping. James, Jimbo, where can everyone find you?
You folks, right now, you can find me by looking up Eyes of the Force Issue 1 on Indiegogo. Go back and you motherfuckers.
That's right. Put your money in your mouth.
Starting its very first issue, and we're looking to get started pre-production on issue 2 soon. So that's going to be fun.
Nice. Excellent. Good luck taking Camden with a spork. Exactly. You're not taking Camden with a spork, that's for sure. Rob, where can everyone find you?
RobSays.net.
There you go. And also on Masculine Geek. And last but not least, Mr. Nick, give us your details.
Go to punchright.com, download our sample magazine, read it, then subscribe, then go check out episode 1 of Punch Right Theater. The biggest dicks, which are starring the masculine geeks themselves in the case of the missing vaginas.
It was. I'll tell you, I've done voice work before, and not in the play format, but I was doing some stuff for the Lovecraft e-zine, reading some short stories. But doing it with a team, as it were, on a like a quote unquote radio play. It's so much fun. It was so much fun to do, and I thank you.
So many laughs. It was an exercise in self-control.
Exactly. To go back and listen to Nick laughing in the background when James and Rob deliver their lines was totally worth the price of admission. That was hysterical. So yes, as Nick said, go to Punch Riot, download the sample chapter, and sign up. I think it's $10 a month, and you get everything.
$9. We raised the monthly subscription from $5 to $9.
All right, that's chump change.
Jawohl.
And it's really good writing. Not just because I'm there, but there's a lot of good writers. And it's entertaining. You're going to get your money's worth. So, all right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. And I'm not sure when we're playing D&D next, but next week we have a guest who I forget at the moment. Just go to the website, masculinegeek.com, look at our events on the right-hand side of the events, a little module, and you'll see that. So enjoy your evenings, folks.